Do you get many middle-aged, middle-class women in here? Is it always this chaotic on a Thursday night?" I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. I took a tissue from the box on the counter, a nasty cheap affair that disintegrated, leaving me picking bits of paper off my face. Pikestaff ignored my pathetic little sobs and started running through my details. She scribbled away, stabbing an impatient full stop onto the paper after every answer, as though there was a particularly salacious murder to solve just as soon as she could wash her hands of me. "Age? 39. Colour of eyes? Brown. Distinguishing features? None. Empty your pockets, please, then I'll just need to search you." I looked at her to see if she was joking. There didn't seem to be anything funny about her. No wedding ring. I wondered if she had children. It was hard to imagine her soothing anyone to sleep. The disappointing contents of my pockets amounted to a Kleenex. She patted me down. Did she really think I had a knife tucked in my trousers? She rattled a plastic bag open. "I need your belt and jewellery." I dropped in my belt and bangle. I hesitated over my necklace, my Australian opals. Scott had brought them for me all the way back from his native Sydney, his first trip home after Alicia was born, nearly 14 years ago. I wrapped the necklace in a tissue and placed it in the corner. I threw in the big diamond solitaire Scott had produced with a flourish on our 5th anniversary. "Show that to your father," he'd said. "Told you we'd survive without his handouts." Every time I looked at it, it reminded me of my father's disapproval. Pikestaff was still making notes. Judging by the concentration on her face, no T would escape uncrossed. I slipped off my wedding band. The skin underneath was indented, pale and shiny after 14 years in the dark. "You're allowed to keep your wedding ring," she said, barely looking up. I held it for a moment, absorbing its mixture of memories, then slowly slid it back onto my finger. I handed her the bag, and she scrawled away, listing the contents. She thrust the paper towards me. "Sign here, please." My hand was shaking so much I could barely form the letters of my name. "You have the right to a solicitor. Would you like me to arrange one, or do you know someone?" "Solicitor? No, thank you." I'd never even had a parking ticket before. Surely this wasn't going to escalate into a proper, full-blown police investigation. I was convinced that, sooner or later, one of Pikestaff's minions would scuttle up and tell me I was free to go. Pikestaff shook her head, as though I didn't have a clue. "Do you want to tell someone you're here? You're allowed a phone call." Fright was taking the place of rebellion, but I declined. Scott knew I was here. That should be enough. Surely that would be enough. With a final flick of her papers, she picked up the boiler suit and said, "Right, let's get you down to a cell to get changed." My own incredulity, plus the shocking racket from the two women who were still taking it in turns to bellow obscenities, clouded my ability to think. Were they actually going to lock me up and make me strip? "Couldn't I keep my blouse? Can't I just sit here until all this gets sorted out? I promise I won't go anywhere." I think I was expecting her to make an exception because I wasn't slurring my words, didn't have any tattoos, and had had a shower in the last 24 hours. She shook her head and opened a heavy grey door. "Your shirt's considered evidence because it's got blood on the cuff. There's no point in arguing. We have to remove it. By force, if necessary." I did that eyes wide open thing, trying to get my tears under control, but they were splashing down my cheeks, then soaking into my blouse as I trailed along after her, just another sorry miscreant to be dealt with before tea break. Every cell door had a pair of shoes outside it. All too soon, it was my turn to feel the cold concrete beneath my feet. My patent boots looked out of place amongst the trainers and stilettos. Pikestaff stood back to let me enter, then followed me in. Pikestaff pushed her straggly blonde hair off her face. "Your shirt." I gave in. My pride was already at an all-time low. I wasn't about to embark on an unseemly tussle with a policewoman, so I stripped off my blouse and thrust